Hey everyone, we just finished learning that the 14th Amendment states that persons born by law of the blood, law of the soil, or naturalization can be citizens of the United States. Today we're going to be talking about the obligations and responsibilities of citizenship. Obligations are things you must do and can receive a fine or jail time for not doing them. Responsibilities are things you should do, but there's no penalty for not doing them. The four obligations of citizenship are to obey the laws, pay your taxes, defend the nation, and serve on juries. The four responsibilities of citizenship are voting in elections, running for office, petitioning the government, and attending civic meetings. The purpose of having obligations and responsibilities is to help the common good. Common good means doing things that help your entire community, state, and country. Things that are good for everyone, not just yourself. Let's talk about what the four obligations mean. Obeying the law is the first obligation of citizenship. It's self-explanatory. We know that running a red light, stealing from a store, or trespassing on another person's property is not good, and it could get us into deep trouble. Paying taxes is the next obligation. Paying taxes are important because the government uses the money to pay for things like roads, schools, and fire protection. Every time you buy something from the store, you have to pay a tax on it. That's why a bag of chips for $3 and a soda for $2 costs $5.30, not just $5. Also, the government takes money out of everyone's paycheck as a tax. That money goes to things like paying for roads, schools, and other things like police protection, firefighters, and the military. Defending the nation is also an obligation. All males 18 to 25 must register with the Selective Service. The purpose of the Selective Service is so that the government has a list of people who could help defend the nation if it's needed. Finally, serving on juries is the last obligation. This one's a bit tricky to understand. One of our rights as citizens is to have a jury trial if we want one, because many people do not trust a judge to decide their punishment. They would rather have a jury of their peers to determine if they're guilty or innocent, and what the punishment should be if there is one. So because many people want a jury trial, the government must make sure they have people to serve on the jury. As you get older, there will be times when you receive a letter in the mail stating that you have to show up to the courthouse at a certain date and time for jury service. To summarize, there are four obligations of citizenship: obeying the law, paying taxes, defending the nation if you're called, and serving on juries. Remember, all of these things help the common good. That is, they help everyone, not just yourself. Now let's look at the four responsibilities of citizenship. The first responsibility is voting. The United States is a representative democracy. This means that our form of government relies on people getting out to the polls to vote. Voting is the way we have our voices heard. The next responsibility is running for office. Just like we need people to vote, we also need people to run for office and make good decisions for the community, the state, and the country. If you feel like you could do a better job, it would be smart to run for office. Let's talk about petitioning the government. We see all over the news how upset we are about things happening in our community or the way the government's being run. One way to help change those things is by writing a letter to a person in government. Maybe it's the mayor or the governor, and you should ask for the change that you want to see. Finally, attending civic meetings is the last responsibility of citizenship. Civic meetings allow you to have face-to-face communication with local government leaders. Some examples of civic meetings would be to attend a school board meeting or a city council meeting. Again, it's important to have your voice heard, and this benefits the common good to do so. To summarize, there are four responsibilities of citizenship: voting, running for office, petitioning the government, and attending civic meetings. It's also important to stay informed about what's happening in your community, your state, and your country. So there we have it. There are certain obligations of citizenship, things you must do, and certain responsibilities of citizenship, things you should do, all of which benefit the common good. Thanks, everyone.